Hey everybody, I'm Katallina, and today we're here to talk about episode 2 of Dragon Ball Daima. In last week's episode, we spent a lot of time actually doing catch-up on what had happened during the whole situation with Majin Buu in a previous series from Dragon Ball. And in this particular situation, we actually move forward, not focusing on the villains this time, who had a lot of comedic situations and a lot of setup to get things going for this new story, but instead with our heroes and with their reaction to what actually happened by the end of last episode. And I think that's really fun, and I think it was really important because I think that there were several things that needed to be established in this episode so that we understood where the characters are insofar as what has happened to them and what we can expect from this particular series of storytelling that is going to be going on moving forward. And I think that this episode did a really good job of handling that, and there are definitely some things that we discovered in this episode that I am particularly fond of and that I think are going to make for some very smart storytelling choices going forward. The first thing that I want to talk about, and that I noticed and that I super liked, is the reality that while these characters have reverted to being tiny versions of themselves, what the writer did not do, whoever is writing each episode, I'm just going to say the writer, I'm not saying names every time, just for clarification, but what has not happened here is the idea that they got turned into tiny versions of themselves and therefore they act and think like first graders. I was slightly worried we were going to get a full reversion to being little kids, and that could have been really annoying. But actually what we've got is a much more interesting take, in my opinion, and that is the idea that although these people have become tiny again, they actually have the full access to who they were a few minutes prior, and they still seem to have full understanding of their mental faculties and the knowledge that they had acquired. They are in tiny bodies, but they are still adults. Even when we see the younger characters who have been reverted to babies, we actually see them being able to communicate with each other and be able to actually understand at least somewhat what is going on to the best of their abilities, not knowing of course what caused it or anything in that sense, but being aware of what's happened to them. And that's fun. I think it's going to be really cool seeing what happens with this overall and seeing how things are going to go moving forward, because one of the other things that I really like about how this is going to be set up is that this is going to allow certain characters like Goku or Piccolo or Vegeta or even characters like Bulma and Chichi to be able to have more spotlight, and it's going to focus a bit less, I would presume at least, on some of the younger characters. Nothing against them. There are some of those characters that I'm super fond of, but I think that it's really cool to see that some of the older characters will be getting the spotlight. Now, I'm very aware that within the context of Super, which I believe comes after this technically, some of those older characters do get more spotlight, but seeing them in a childlike state I think is going to be really cute and really fun, especially again when paired with the mental maturity, because that will make it stand out against the original Dragon Ball, where Goku was a small child, but he was actually a child. I cannot comment on GT because I have not watched it, so if anyone has any thoughts or reference on that, if there's anything that's important, feel free to share, but that's something I don't know anything about, if I'm being honest. The next thing that I really liked about this episode was how different characters actually reacted to what had happened to them, whether they were reacting in a mental sense of, oh my gosh, I'm young again, or something like that, or whether it was the ramifications that it had on certain physical abilities. Watching Goku and Piccolo in particular trying to figure out what's going on with their flight was really, really funny. Watching Bulma give. I think it's Kabuto or something. I'm terrible with that name. Sorry. Watching her give him instructions and stuff, and eventually he's just like, I am not your errand boy, was really funny because apparently he was still able to do his teleportation method properly and wasn't having the problems that say Goku or Piccolo were having, especially the holy crap, I thought he was going over the edge where Goku was flying around when they went to see Mr. Popo. That was like, oh my gosh, like I thought he was going for a minute there. One other thing that I really enjoyed was the conversation that was being had by Bulma and Chichi, with Bulma going, you know, there is a silver lining to all of this, and that's that my skin is once again super duper smooth. And I mean, we all know how much Bulma likes to wish for to make herself look younger and more invigorated using the Dragon Balls, so that was pretty funny. And then to see the male equivalent of that coming through in Master Roshi was also very refreshing, and I think that he did a really great job, and he was really funny in this episode, and seeing his antics play out with this situation was a personal highlight for me. I really enjoyed how his character played out in all of this. On a story progression front, we definitely did make some steps forward. We have Bulma working on an update to the spaceship so that they will be able to go and get to this new planet. We also have the introduction of a new character. I think his name was like Gleo or something. I might have that wrong. But I think that's going to be interesting because there's somebody who's come to their planet from the demon realm and who's going to take Goku and the Supreme Kai back. And we don't know whether we can trust them, and the Supreme Kai, of course, is very cautious and very alarmed, whereas Goku's just like, I want to go fight things, because of course he does. He's Goku. That's how he is. He wants to fight things and he wants to eat food. And that's not a slam on him. I like Goku as a character. He's pretty chill. But it definitely looks like everything is lining up for us to get going and have a fun and exciting adventure, which is exactly what I want to see from Dragon Ball. I like it when they do these episodes where they take their time, they show what's happening with the characters. Oh, I also wanted to point out what happened with Krillin and how Krillin was one of the first people to realize what was going on. And then Bulma's like, but you're always small, and it's like, no, poor Krillin, can't get any respect. But, as I was saying, I thought this was really good. I think this is definitely heading in the right direction. I'm definitely enjoying myself, but that's just my thoughts. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking, so drop a comment below and let me know, and I'll talk to you in the next video. See you later. Bye!